more confidence in Allen or Burrow?
For me, it's going to be Joe Burrow. And you just talked about his confidence, and I think it's confidence more so than it is cockiness, because I think we've seen people be cocky and be standoffish and, a lot of people not like him. I think majority of the people love Joe Burrow and the way he approaches the game. But for me, it's the intangibles that he displays when he's out there at the quarterback position, in the pocket with two hands on the football, right? Understanding coverages and where to decipher the defense and throw the football. Also, having that moxie. He's a guy that he's never worried about who he's playing or who's on the opposite side or what defense he's going against. He's going to bring his A game, and he's not going to be the reason why the Cincinnati Bengals lose a football game.
I love both these guys. I've kind of raved about Joe Burrow since I saw him on the field in the national title game. But there is something special about when I watch Josh Allen in those massive moments. I know everyone makes a big deal about the 3 turnovers of last week. I think Josh in big games has always played his best. And last week, out of those 3 turnovers, I would probably put 1 on Josh to sit there, that fumble that gets returned for the touchdown, and say, Josh, you have to be better than that. I think the first interception, you can make the case maybe it's over-aggressive, but he's given John Brown a shot versus Xavier Howard. I would ask, is that really the matchup we want? And then the other is a bang-bang interception. Josh in the playoffs, in 7 games playoffs, has got 17 touchdowns. He's got 3 interceptions. He's thrown for over 2,000 yards in those 7 starts. He plays big-time football when it's absolutely at its best, or needed at its best. Joe Burrow in 5 playoff games has played well. He's thrown for like 1,300 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not nearly as dominant performance-wise as Josh has been. I love both these players. I think they're both superstars. I think they both win MVP. I think they both win Super Bowl at some point in their career. But confidence right now, because of some of the injuries on Joe Burrow's offensive line, I think he manages it well. I don't see Josh Allen playing 2 quote-unquote stinkers in a row in the playoffs. He'll play well this week. I've got a ton of confidence in his ability to go play.
It's close, very close. I'm going to take Burrow here because right now Allen's a little reckless with the ball. Go back to the Minnesota game on a 4th and 2 with the interception, and the Vikings go right down the field. But he's a little trying too hard to make that home run hero play.
He's what with the ball, Mad Dog?
Reckless. Is that what they call you, Harry Reckless?
Sometimes. It depends on the situation, Mad Dog. It depends on the situation, baby.
I hadn't thought of that connection. But I just do think that the aspect of him almost trying a little too hard to be superhuman might get in the way. And it's close, and I love Allen's running ability compared to Burrow because he can run for 30 yards on a given play. That's not Burrow's game per se. But I'll take Burrow right now only because I feel a little – I think Allen's got a touch of being a little erratic, and Burrow isn't. And in this kind of game, that one big mistake could go the difference. So I'll take Burrow in this slot. And I love them both. I'm with you. We all love them both.
Nobody's we're not trying to knock either one of them.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. But this is a very tricky game, this game. Yeah. This is a very hard game to call. Very hard game to call. And I wouldn't be surprised either way. But I do feel that he'd be a little less reckless with the football. Burrow, I'm with Harry. I'll take him.
Mad Dog, I agree with you. I've often said this. Josh's greatest strength is his greatest weakness. His greatest strength is his desire to be great, the competitive greatness that he has inside of him. And you got to curb that a little bit because sometimes he tries to be a superhero and score, 40 points on every single play. And I think that falls a little bit on Josh, totally this week. I also think it falls a little bit on Ken Dorsey. And this is where coaching has to come in and be like, how do we get Josh to just slow down just a little bit and calm? And I think the way in this game, if I was Ken Dorsey, I would start this game running Josh Allen. He would have 4 or 5 designed quarterback runs within my first 15 plays. A lot of times when you're an athletic quarterback like this, to get him to into the rhythm of the game, get him hit early. And Cincinnati struggled to slow down quarterback run last week. I think if they do that, it'll slow Josh down just a little bit. It'll allow him to settle in the game and kind of feel Josh wants to feel in control, it feels like. I want to be in control of the game. Get him into the mindset of where he's in control of the game, not almost reeling and trying to do so much. So I agree, they got to find a way to not get him to be over competitive with the football.
Yeah, and I will say this, though, Dan. Back in 2020, when they played the AFC Championship game, I seen that heroic performance that Josh Allen tried to put on, and it actually cost him against the Kansas City Chiefs at Kansas City, right? Taking unnecessary sacks, knocking his team out of field goal range, turning the football over. Those things hurt the Buffalo Bills back in 2020, and we're still kind of having some of those same conversations about Josh Allen in 2022. And I get it, trust me. He's a phenomenal guy because anybody who puts their body on the line and goes out there and, does everything he can possible for his team to win a football game, but he also can have the 3 turnovers, but he can have the 3 or 4 plays in a ball game that allows the Buffalo Bills to win. But when I look at Joe Burrow, we can't point to a moment, and I understand the year's difference in the National Football League is a huge little difference here, but I can't point to a moment last year with the Cincinnati Bengals and say, you know what? They weren't in that game because Joe Burrow was terrible. He got sacked 9 times versus the Tennessee Titans. He still figured out a way. His mindset, his body language never even changed. So that's why I'm going with Joe Burrow.
Doug, let me ask you this. If you were a betting man, if you sat there watching the games, yelling at the TV.
Which I do.
And yeah, we know. I hope your wife's not watching. Who would you bet on to go off more, Diggs or Chase?
That's a very good question. I probably would say Diggs because I think that they could take Chase away a little bit and then he'll very easily just throw the ball to Higgins, Boyd. He'll do a couple of other things. He will force feed Diggs the ball. So Dan would be the expert on this. He's the QB. Diggs will get his chances. No matter what Cincinnati's defense would do, they're going to throw Diggs. And if you don't throw him the ball, he's going to throw someone on the sideline and go crazy.
See, I'm taking Chase.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.